You might hold on to the delusion that everything will be fine. You might think that critics are overreacting, that this is America. The votes will be counted, the winner will be declared, and life will carry on as normal. Have you been watching? Everything is not fine. We've seen a constant trend of mismanaged elections. Many states are struggling to process an influx of mail-in ballots. Even for those that do show up to the polls, long lines and faulty voting machines continue to suppress their democratic rights, not to mention the safety issues of voting in crowds during a pandemic.
That was a portion of a video released by the Renew Democracy Initiative, a nonpartisan organization that's focused on supporting liberal democracy here and abroad. And if you're too ignorant to know what liberal democracy is, that's not left-wing democracy. That's actually American democracy as it's been defined for the past 240 years. With us now, chairman of the Renew Democracy Initiative, former chess grandmaster Garry Kasparov. Garry, I loved something that you said a few months ago on Twitter. Somebody said, what would most of your Twitter followers be surprised by? And what you said, you responded that they're going to be really surprised that I'm kind of a conservative guy. And you look at Ann Applebaum and you both have had books warning about creeping authoritarianism. And of course, Ann was a courier. I found out by reading her book, Twilight of Democracy. Ann was a courier as a student, helping deliver packages to dissidents behind the Berlin Wall back in the 80s. So you both come from an anti-communist, center-right position, and both of you are warning in the starkest terms, because you've seen it up close, about the creeping authoritarianism, not only in Hungary and Poland, but the possibility of it right here in the United States. Tell us how this Postal Service debacle is playing into that.
Yes, we come from, you said, center-right, but it's not about center-right. It's not about center-left. It's about democracy. It's about democratic institutions. And it's the video that you show, the portion of it. It's a part of the series that we're doing to illustrate the threats to American democracy. We want to show the threat and also want to break through the apathy that so nearly 100 million Americans not voting in 2016 by choice. And almost all of them. I mean, it's not about suppression, it's just choice. And when democracy is in great danger, not voting, not participating is also a choice. And we also want to remind that billions of people around the world, they're fighting for the right to vote. And it will be ridiculous for Americans who care about American democracy not to show up even against all the obstacles and to vote. And also to recognize the threat is real.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. We have a delay. Forgive me. It has to be astounding to you, given your background, that so many Americans seem almost glib about the creeping authoritarianism that's happening in the United States, or also looking at how some of these so-called Cold War hawks that spent their life claiming to be Cold War hawks attack people like you, and also, of course, drove a Jewish refugee from the Soviet Union out of his position at the White House, Lieutenant Colonel Vindman. It's absolutely shocking. An American hero who won a Purple Heart, who earned a Purple Heart in Iraq. Donald Trump pushed him out of service to this country, and Republicans stood by and let him do it.
You know, what scares me the most isn't that I know what people like Trump and his cronies can do. It's that authoritarians always come up with things that we cannot imagine, cannot even predict. And it's a special talent of people who think only about themselves, only about their money, their power. And you very often hear, oh, doesn't he know how bad that looks? Or surely he would never do that. They don't care. They will do anything because they have too much to lose. The way authoritarians think is that anything they do to stay in power is fine as long as it works. Because with power, they can avoid consequences, they can avoid prosecution, they can cover their tracks, and they pardon their friends and allies. So breaking traditions, breaking the rule, even breaking the law, they think it won't matter if they win. So they're capable of absolutely anything.
Hey, it's Casey Hunt. My question for you is, what responsibility do Republicans here in the United States have in this context if, in fact, we end up with a president in November who is questioning the election results?
Look, Republicans already bear responsibility for voting against impeachment and leaving a man in the office who was capable of doing anything, violating American law just to stay afloat politically. And those who are enabling these abuses should understand that they will be treated as accomplices. I don't want to hear, oh, we didn't know, or, oh, I was just following orders. Maybe they didn't know in 2016, but now in 2020, they know who Trump is and what Trump is. And I think that should be a very clear message from the voters, because the only way to stop these abuses is deterrence, because we don't know exactly what is coming. Even with my experience being born and raised in a communist country and living in Putin's Russia, I cannot predict everything Trump can do, but I don't want to think about it because he will do absolutely everything to stay in power. And every Republican who is helping him of doing so must be held accountable when it's over.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.